And now, from Costa Mesa, California, at the Sunset 17 studio, it's time for Sunset Rewind with Kevin and Moe.
All right, Sunset Rewind back at you today. The regular season is officially history. We are moving on to the CIF playoffs, Coach.
Yeah, there's one more week to go with a lot on the line. You know, a lot of these teams are wondering, are they even going to CIF?
Yeah.
Who they're playing, if they're home or away, what division. That all got answered yesterday, but we still have some games to cover from week 10, and let's get into it.
Who you want to start with?
Let's start with the Thursday night game. We can go in order. Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach was at home against El Dorado, and the scenario was very simple. If they win, they are in. So first play of the game. Now, this is how you start a game. Gabe Bryant, the wideout's going to run a 5-yard curl, and boy, you hear that term, yards after catch or yak. He turned a 5-yard curl into a 55-yard touchdown. So right out the gate, Huntington Beach would get on the scoreboard 7-0.
Another great Huntington Beach wide receiver.
Mika Riola, the running back.
Micah.
On the second drive, is going to get the ball, go off tackle. Gets to the outside, can't quite get in there, but that's okay because a couple plays later, Steel Kurtz, the man of steel, is going to run a simple go route. Edmonds puts it up, high points it, and Huntington Beach would get a 14-point lead at this point. El Dorado would come back, cut it to 14-7, but Dylan Cunningham, the defender, Aldo's trying to tie this game up, but not going to happen. Quarterback overthrows the receiver. Cunningham gets the interception. Aldo's got another chance to tie it up, but this time 4th and goal, and the whole front seven of that Huntington Beach defense collapses on the running back, preventing them from tying the ball game up. So Huntington Beach would look to extend their lead. Micah Riola, right, Taryn?
Correct.
Would take it up the gut, get those shoulders down, and truck some of those defensive backs as they edged closer to the end zone.
The importance of leverage.
And then from there, Brady Edmonds is going to call his own number, is going to pull it. Defensive end bites on that. So Huntington Beach would extend their lead. At this point, it's 22-7. They're looking good. But the game wasn't over just yet. However, more defense from Huntington Beach. Gavin Seguin and the defensive tackle are going to collapse in on the quarterback. So early on, outstanding defense by Huntington Beach. And then more offense. The man of steel, Steel Kurtz. Now, this is about 30 seconds left in the half. They're in cover 4. You cannot let a receiver get behind you like that under any circumstance.
Yeah, that can't happen if you're El Dorado there.
Aldo let Huntington off the hook. I mean, great throw and catch, but there's really no reason to get beat like that with so little time left. So it's 29-7 halftime. Huntington Beach is in control. They'd look to extend that lead. Mika Riola again.
Micah.
Thank you, Taryn. Would go up 35-14. So in control, but it's not quite over yet. And here's one of the reasons why El Dorado would come back. But Gavin Seguin's going to blow up the pulling guard and shut their running game down. So really all night long they struggled offensively. Couldn't get that run game going, but they would ultimately recover. If you can't get it done on the ground, go through the air. They'd throw a deep ball to the wide receiver who did a nice job coming back for it, breaks a tackle. So, you know, again, a game that Huntington Beach is in control. Now it's 35-21. It's a 14-point ball game. So this is kind of the clutch time. Nico E. Lopez, the slot receiver, is going to run right by the defender. He falls down. Edmonds sees that, steps up in the pocket, and puts the ball right on the money, extending the lead to 42-21 in the third. And at that point, Huntington was pretty much in control, but they'd keep the gas on. How do I say this, Karen?
Micah Riola.
Micah Riola, very good. Would go off tackle on the left side, down the far sideline, and he couldn't quite get in there. That's okay, because they would get in there eventually. This time it'd be Charles Steuben.
Or Charlie.
The other running back.
Only a sophomore, so got 2 more years of him.
Yeah, you got a nice 1-2 combination. So Huntington Beach would march to victory. They'd get the win, 49-28. And with that win, they are in the playoffs. So let's do some interviews first, and then we'll talk about the playoffs and what exactly is going to happen here. I caught up with a couple players. Let's start with the man of steel, Steel Kurtz.
All right, Sunset Rewind here, joined by the man of steel, Steel Kurtz, Huntington Beach Oilers, 49-28 victory tonight. What were the keys to success for the Oilers, you think?
We watched a lot of film this week. We faced adversity from last week. We came out and played great this week. Got a lot of great running backs, a lot of great receivers. Brady Edmonds. We stepped up this week.
So you've clinched a playoff spot. You'll find out 10 in the morning on Sunday who you're going to play next week. How are you guys going to prepare for the playoffs?
Season's not over until it's over. We're going for that championship. We want to win the whole thing this year.
So, Steele, you're one of the best two-way players in the county, offense and defense. You get it done on both sides of the field. But which do you prefer, offense or defense?
Offense. I like catching the ball. I like scoring touchdowns. I mean, you can still score touchdowns on defense, but not as many.
All right. Great job. Congratulations on a great season. Look forward to the playoffs. Thanks, Steele.
Thank you.
And let's hear what Brady Edmonds had to say after the win.
All right, Sunset Rewind here, joined by Brady Edmonds. Brady, record-setting night for you tonight. You broke your own passing yardage record from last season. How's that feel?
I mean, it's cool. You know, the records are all cool and all, but at the end of the day, the win's the most important thing, and, you know, that's what we got tonight, so it feels great.
Hard-fought victory, 49-28. El Dorado really competed, but you locked up another playoff spot. What's that mean to you?
I mean, it feels great. You know, playoffs are really all what matters at the end of the day. I mean, last year, you know, we struggled in the preseason with 4-6, wasn't even 500, snuck into the playoffs and had a huge run and a great run and lost on a last-second play. So, I mean, it feels great to get in, whether it's Division 4, Division 5. I mean, I think we're all ready to make a big run in the playoffs right here and show everybody what's up.
So, what are you going to do to prepare this week for the playoffs?
I mean, we're going to rest until Sunday. We find out our opponent, and then it's all go on whoever it is. Watch, you know, studying the film and whatnot, and then yeah, I mean, we're ready to go.
So, congratulations on a great regular season. We wish you all the best. Go Oilers!
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
So, record setter Brady Edmonds, he had 2,691 yards throwing last year in 13 games. After 10 games this year, 2,869. So, Edmonds is putting up some big, big numbers.
He's getting it done. And, you know, we talked about the playoffs. Well, we know who their playoff opponent is.
Western.
They're going to be at home Friday night against Western. You know, interesting thing about that matchup is they have two common opponents. They both played Tribuco, who Huntington Beach lost to and Western beat. But they also both played Capo, who Huntington Beach beat and Western lost to.
So the secondary for Huntington Beach has to be prepared if they're going to win this game. J.J. Ameswa from Western, averaging 128 yards a game, has 87 catches for 1,284 yards this year. He's caught 18 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's not only one of the top receivers in the county, he's one of the top receivers in the section. He was one of those preseason 150 guys. He's lived up to the billing and hype. They got that Malachi Alatorre, who's the running back. Not big, but he runs hard.
950 yards rushing this year.
A
12
sophomore
TDs.
quarterback. They are battle tested. They play in a very good league. So
They can
Delta
go.
League.
They have a couple
so-
quarterbacks. They have Chance Thomas and Noah Giddens. And both of them have thrown for 14 touchdowns each.
I'm telling you, for a first-round matchup for a 1 seed, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Western is legit, so Huntington, you better take them seriously. And I know they will, but you know this isn't like the first round back in the day when you were the 1 seed and you essentially had a bye.
This is gonna be
all hands on deck from the get-go.
a good game. And if you're a fan of offense, this is the game you want to be at this week.
Two really good coaches as well, and Dan Davidson and Brett Brown.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we will be there Friday, Taryn. That's the game you'll be going to.
Correct.
So let's move on.
See you there, Oiler
we are
Nation.
going to head down the Costa, Fountain Valley, actually inland, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we're moving on. One quick correction. I first said we're heading down the coast, then I said we're heading inland. Actually, Fountain Valley played at the same stadium, but it was a Thursday, Friday night, so little adjustment there. So, all right, next game, Fountain Valley's playing Friday night. Thank you to Coach Washington, the son of James Washington, the great Hall of Fame Bruin player.
And what about him on Tecmo Bowl?
The best Tecmo Bowl defensive back ever. He could hit and cover. But we're not here to talk about him. Let's talk about Fountain Valley. Great game. They were at home against Aliso Niguel. Early on, Aliso Niguel would take advantage of the opportunity. Jarrett Sable, I wonder if it's any relation to the Kennedy guy.
Garrett Sable.
Possibly. So it'd be 7-0 Aliso Niguel early on. They would extend their lead when defensive back Carson Etneri is going to read the quarterback's eyes. He's going to jump the route. Good job. Looks like he's in cover 2 there and just sees it, jumps it, and just like that, Aliso Niguel has a 14-0 lead. Now, Fountain Valley would fight back. One of the reasons why Timmy Wynn, the outside linebacker, the defense is going to get going for them, is going to see the quarterback's eyes, read it, jump in front of that receiver, gets an interception. So he'd set his team up on the right side of the field. And from there, a little razzle-dazzle. Lucas Alexander's going to throw it to the receiver on a bubble route. He's going to throw it back to Lucas.
Razzle-dazzle.
He's got a wall of blockers in front of him. Couldn't get in the end zone. In fact, they couldn't take advantage in terms of touchdowns, but it did set up a field goal. So Jack Chavez, right before half, would put it through the uprights. And so we would have a 14-3 game going into halftime. In the second half, Fountain Valley would come out, be aggressive. Charles Grover, the wideout. Alexander's going to throw a high ball. He's going to come back and kind of back shoulder that. Great grab. sets his team up, and from there,
Great adjustment.
Lucas Alexander's going to call his own number. He's going to fake the flip and then turn it up inside. So now, a game they were down 14-0, it's 14-10. So they're
a ball game here.
They're working back. I think Aliso and Niguel kind of got the message, so they kind of woke up themselves. Dan Malloy, the wideout, is going to run a quick slant. Nice ball by the quarterback in between the corner and the outside linebacker. So they'd extend their lead a little bit, 21-14, but Fountain Valley wasn't going anywhere. Raymond DeJean Jr. is going to get the ball from Lucas Alexander on the post route. Nice grab in traffic. Keeps the drive alive. They get him near the end zone where Luke Taylor would catch a ball from Lucas Alexander on the slant. So with about 4 minutes to go, Fountain Valley's back in this thing. It's 21-17. The defense would get them the ball back. So now here's their opportunity. Luke Taylor, the number 2 receiver on the top of the screen, is going to drag across the middle. Looking. Lucas buys time, gets in the ball.
Wow.
And then you're silent. So now they're set up. If they can score here with under 2 minutes, they got the lead. Okay, I didn't get the receiver's number, and for that I apologize, but as a slant and go route, Lucas Alexander throws it right on the money. So with about 1:20 to go,
It's a great pass. Can't defend
Fountain
that.
Valley's up 24-21, going to close out the season with a win. Now we talk offense, we talk defense.
Yeah,
Fall asleep
special
on
teams.
special teams. One of the things we tell our players is you got to sprint down the field, you got to squeeze the ball carrier, and you got to break down. These guys have got the sprinting down good.
What
but
do we
they
always say at
fly up the
Cypress?
field.
Lane force, contain fill.
Yeah, and they just, they didn't break down essentially, and it allowed the return man to get all the way down to the 30-yard line. So, in the closing seconds, Aliso Niguel's got a shot to get the lead, and Jarrett Sable is going to take advantage of that opportunity. And with about 20 seconds left, he gets in the end zone. That would be the final, unfortunately, for Fountain Valley. A great effort. You look at the Foxtrot lead and how good those teams are. Orange, Dana Hills, Laguna Beach, Northwood, Aliso Niguel. I mean, we talked about how, hey, you're finally out of the Sunset League. Now you're going to have a chance to really do some damage. But those teams are good, too. They're darn good.
I mean, they hung with Northwood and Orange, and then that, heartbreaking loss to
They hung with
Aliso
Dana
Niguel.
Hills, too.
Yeah, they were leading Dana Hills.
At halftime, yeah.
Fountain Valley, season didn't go the way they wanted, but, they played to the very end, and they left it all on the field, and that's all you can ask of a football team, of a group of young men and their coaching staff. So congratulations, especially to the seniors on Fountain Valley. We wish you all the best as you move on.
Fountain Valley, go check out, now that your season's over, the California Showcase. You've got players that who have benefited from that, so I highly recommend that, and we'll pump that up as the season progresses. But you're right. Great season. I know that in terms of wins and losses, it wasn't what they wanted, but those games were competitive against good teams, nothing to be ashamed of. I know you're disappointed, but somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and that's the way it goes.
Bonus question for you.
Okay.
Little Kennedy shout out. Garrett Sable, where'd he go to college?
Oregon, right?
Oh, yeah.
How about those Ducks?
Yeah, absolutely.
And my
Quack,
Bruins? Yeah. All right.
All right.
That's kind of a big gap, actually. But anyway, let's
Massive gap.
move on. All right. Championship week for Marina, 9-1, taking on 10-0 Beckman. The scenario was simple.
8-1 taking on 9-0.
Correct.
The Vikings.
The scenario is simple. If Beckman wins, they're undefeated league champs all by themselves. If Marina wins and Kennedy wins, you'd have a 3-way tie. So let's just get into the action. This was a game where Marina was doing everything they could to give this one away. And I mean that with all due respect. So early on, good drive going. Garrett Honeycutt's going to step up. The ball hits the defensive lineman, and Noah Zakowski's going to get an interception. This would be one of 7 turnovers on the night, so keep that in mind. They would take advantage. Drexel Gibson, the running back, is going to get the ball from the quarterback, follow the offensive line. So they would strike first, taking a 7-0 lead. But Marina would come back. Their all-everything receiver, Shane Cassidy, is going to run a corner route. Honeycutt throws a nice ball, puts it right on the money. And so in the second quarter, we got a tie ball game, 7-7.
They missed the extra point, or
Correct.
the extra point was
7-6,
blocked.
thank you. All right, so Marina's trying to get back in it. Noah Zakowski, again, this would be his second of 3 interceptions. Going to do a great job dropping back, gets his arm on the ball, and just...
That's a nice play.
It's a great play by the defender. And so they would maintain a 1-point halftime lead, 7-6. So we're starting the second half. Marina's getting the ball. Let's make some adjustments and take the lead. Not going to happen. They fumble the kickoff. Sawyer Nicholson's going to get the recovery, allowing Beckman to get the ball, and they take advantage again. Makai Zakowski, it's got to be the brother of the cornerback, would get up in there. So, mistakes are just killing Marina at this point. So now we're in the third quarter. It's 14-6, but it's still a one-possession ball game. So let's get the return kickoff and see what we can do. Not going to happen. Another fumble.
Whoops.
And at this point, you're just thinking maybe it's just not meant to be. Nathan Garcia would recover it, and these things happen. But finally, the defense, who played great all night, is really going to take matters into their own hand. Talon Costa and Jake Russell are going to come up the middle, dropping the quarterback, knocking them out of field goal range, so really avoid a disaster there because Beckman really could have taken advantage. So, late in the game, roll to the left, we're going to throw the right, and guess what? Another pick. Noah Zakowski, pick number 3, and now it's getting to be nervous time.
Beckman secondary is having a night.
8, yeah, they sure were, and there was actually another interception. So the scenario was this. Marina would get the ball with about 7 minutes left, and they essentially decided, Coach T, that we're putting all our eggs in this basket, and this is going to be the final drive. He was very slow and methodical. They were running the ball, I'd say 80% of the time, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards. The natives were getting wrestling. I'm up top of the press box listening, but it was clear that, hey, we're going for it on fourth. We have to. This is it. They finally get down to about the 15-yard line.
The red zone.
Where they're going to finally throw the ball. Shane Cassidy gets behind the defenders, and now we have got a 2-point ball game. They've still got to get the 2-point conversion.
Had to have that, too, and have to have this next play.
And Garrett Huntington, one of the things that makes him so clutch is he had an awful game, let's be honest, statistically, but it didn't rattle him. He's a 3-year starter. He's experienced. It's like next play, you're moving on. This is the whole season. He's going to look to the left. His primary target is covered. He's not there. Most quarterbacks will make a predetermined, just throw it and hope for the best. He checks number 2. He's open in the middle. Carlos, he makes the right decision. And so a clutch play at a clutch time by a quarterback who could have been rattled, that's money. So it's 14-14 into regulation. We go into overtime. And Marina's just going to pound it all the way into the end zone. Gabe Carlos follows his blockers, gets up in there. So now they've got a 7-point lead. So Beckman would come back. They'd score a touchdown to tie it in the first overtime. They'd kick a field goal because they got to go first in the second overtime. So now Marina's going to take over. And, let's just watch what happens. A touchdown wins it. Beckman's defense, look, they're playing for a championship too. Nick Fernandez and Nathaniel Note are going to come off the edge. This is third down. They're going to sack him. So now it's 4th and 12. The whole season's on the line. Look at the Beckman sideline going nuts because they think they've got this. But Honeycutt, the cool cat he is, throws across the field to Cassidy, who's going to tiptoe down to the 3
to save the day.
And that's exactly what he did. So another averted disaster. They're going to run power to the right. Everybody's blocking down. They're going to kick out. The running back didn't hear the audible, so he lined up on the wrong side. Garrett's going to open up. There's nobody there. Now he can be stuffed.
Running back's going left.
But he's going to improvise. And what champions do is they find a way.
And you see Carlos get a block in there as well.
Oh, no. I mean, it was awesome. And, great teams aren't always great, but they're great when they have to be.
They find their way to win.
So Marina would get the W. They would be champs, all 3 of the teams, them, Kennedy, and Beckman. So, and I think all 3 teams are deserving.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those everybody gets a trophy guy, but you look at everything they've done in totality, and they all played each other and beat each other in good games. I'm at peace with that. They're all in the playoffs. And
but what's better than that league championship patch?
I'm thinking the CIF title.
Correct.
All right. Well, we got a couple interviews. Let's start with the old line because they were shining. Cole, turn the volume up, please.
Sunset Rewind with Lambda League Champions. How do you guys like the sound of that?
Feels great. Feels great. Hey, that's awesome.
Your guys' motto all year has been no lie, no shine. I don't know how many times you guys ran the ball tonight, but you pounded it and pounded it and pounded it. How good did that feel, and how much did that contribute to the championship overall?
Hey, honestly, it felt really good, but honestly, it hurt because we get all the way down there, and then we mess up, we throw an interception, but in the end, it didn't really matter because, we won in the end.
We got there.
We went down there, we scored how many rushing touchdowns we have tonight? 2? Oh, no.
I'll check the box scores and let you know. But hey, guys, listen, bottom line, you got it done. You came off a hard loss last week. What was the mindset of the team this week going into this game?
Yeah, we're not losing again. Hey, if we couldn't go 10-0, hey, no one can.
So listen, here's the deal. You did have to share it, but you are league champs back-to-back. You get a little break before CIF. Any word on who you're playing or what division? Do you know yet?
We have no clue. No idea. But, we were D9 last year, so hey, no matter what, hey, we're going to play our hardest. That's about it. All we can get.
Speaking of working hard and playing hard, Little post-game celebration. Where's the team headed? What do you guys have for dinner? Where are we going, boys?
In-N-Out. We going In-N-Out. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Coach Knott. Coach Knott, the microphone. Say something.
Hey, we're young. We got one senior, but we're a promising group.
And the line shot night. Well, guys, congratulations. Enjoy the next couple days off. You've earned it, and we'll see you guys at CIF.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
What a great O-line they've got.
Dude, tell me those guys aren't fired up.
Great
That's
coach,
awesome.
everything. That's awesome. So, Marina, like they said, if they can't go 10-0, nobody can. So they get the victory. They play Ukaipa in the first round of the playoffs. Ukaipa, interesting matchup. They're 6-4 team, 2-3 in their league. In their scoring this year, they outscored their opponents 318 to 308. So it's almost as even as you can be. They have a really good running back named Logan Barber, who has rushed for 1,377 yards this game and 18 rushing touchdowns. And then they, of more consequence, they have a dual threat quarterback by the name of Deese Turner. He's thrown for 844 yards, but guess what? He's also rushed for 762 yards and accounted for 18 touchdowns, 8 by way of the air, 10 by ground. So that's an interesting matchup for Marina. But at the end of the day, I think they get it done.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's the Friday game. You're going to be at that one.
Correct.
Taryn, you're at Huntington. You're going to Marina. It's hard. You kept us 6-4, and they play teams like on Palm Springs and Redlands, so it's hard to gauge. When they play county teams, we can kind of get a beat on who they are. But look, this is CIF, and if you were good enough to get into CIF, you're good enough to win. So, and all these divisions are condensed in terms of the talent levels. So, every week's going to be a fight, and if Marina wants to get this championship, they're going to have to fight in the first round, and we'll see what happens.
So let's go Vikings.
Don't you have another interview?
I did, Taryn. You're screwing me up.
Oh, you said you had a couple interviews.
All right, let's do it.
On here is excuses from you.
All right. Let's go. Go ahead.
Sunset Rewind here with running back Gabe Carlos. Gabe, you guys pounded the rock tonight. My first question is, how are you holding up physically?
Man, week 10, some things get to you, but, a game like this, you got to play through it.
6 turnovers. More times than not, if you do that, you're going to lose a game. Was there any point in that game where you thought, oh, man, it's just not our night? And how were you able to overcome all those mistakes?
I never thought it wasn't our night. I'm always confident in my team, and, when you're just confident like that, I never lost hope at all in the game. I'm always confident in our boys.
You probably ran the ball tonight more than you have all season long. Was that kind of the game plan going in, or was that more a result of the success you're having with it early on?
We were spreading the ball around a little bit, then the run was working, so I think we kept going for it, and, our O-line was doing crazy, so we had to keep it behind them. That was insane by them.
As the game progressed, did you feel like you were getting a good push on them and the running game was kind of wearing them down, and that was ultimately the difference?
Yeah, our O-line kept up. They were well energized, and them, I felt like they were losing energy. Our O-line was winning that battle, and they gave us that extra push to get the win.
Well, you guys are Lambda League champs, back-to-back, different league, but still champions. You're on your way to CIF. Enjoy the rest. You've earned it, and get healthy, and good luck going forward.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Real quick, so after the games, we love doing interviews, and we post them all on X and we post them all on Instagram. So if you want to see all these interviews, please go to our website and you can check that out. I'm curious, and I'd like you to put this in the comments. Do you like more interviews when we do the post-game show or the review show like this is now? We usually just do one. We're trying to kind of spread the love a little bit more. So if you like more interviews, obviously it makes it go longer, which I'm fine with. Or if you like just kind of one interview, let us know what you think. We're here to kind of serve the people, so I'm good either way. Yeah. I've got nowhere to be, so it's all good.
Where are we going next?
Wait, hold on. I do got to give my flowers to Marina. First and foremost, Marina, I apologize for picking against you. It was tough to pick between you all and Beckman, but I'm glad you all were able to get the win, and I actually will tip my hat to you, even though I'm not wearing a hat, to basically say congratulations on being Lambda League champions.
Well, don't tip your hat, but you can twirl those curly locks you got.
Yes, and the fact that they had 6 turnovers and they were able to overcome it, most teams would crumble like a graham cracker, but they were able to stay stout, stay with the game plan, and just stay in it. And the defense was really impressive. The offense kept finding ways to get into the end zone and eventually find ways to keep the drive going. So this Marina team, if they can clean up their mistakes, they could be dangerous in Division 7. So any team that draws Marina, tread at your own peril.
I'll say one thing, last thing about those turnovers is late in the third quarter, Beckman actually fumbled the ball. It went 10 yards upfield, and their own guy recovered it. I'm thinking, it's just not Marina's night because they were giving the ball away like it was candy. And even the one time that Beckman fumbled, they recovered. It was just a weird thing, but hey, they overcame, so props to them.
I wanted to ask you that. In all your years of coaching, playing, broadcasting, analyzing football, have you ever seen a team that had 6 turnovers plus a turnover on down, so let's call it 7 turnovers for all intents and purposes, still win a ball game?
Never. And Marina, my message to you is you better fix that turnover problem if you want to win CIF, because I promise you, I've seen that one time my whole life. I don't think I'll ever see it again. But hey, you got the dub. Congratulations. Good luck in CIF. Okay, we are moving on. San Clemente was at home hosting Edison. This was an interesting game. If Edison won, they would clinch a playoff spot. They would also have an opportunity to win league based on how the Los Al Mission game turned out. But nonetheless, let's get into this. Early on, Colin Cole from San Clemente would get his team on the board first. They're in wildcat formations, going to follow his offensive line. So in the first quarter, San Clemente would take a 7-0 lead. Then the defense. Matai Tagoa-I-E, right, Taryn?
Close enough. Matai Tagoa-I.
Well, I'll tell you where he's headed, USC, and this is why. Look what he does to my man Thompson, throwing him down like that. Introducing the sophomore to San Clemente football. But you know what? Edison plays defense too. Carson Schmidt's going to come off the edge and stuff the Triton running back. So a lot of defense early on. But Edison would ultimately recover. Julius Gillick. Now it's 3rd and 9, just to kind of give you an idea of Coach Grady's mindset going in this game. 3rd and 9, we're just running up the gut. And why not when you got one of the top running backs in the county? He would get his team down near the 2 or 3 yard line.
1,679 yards this year.
Julius Gillick would call his own number. Another form of wildcat. He would just take it up the middle, fall on the O-line. So
that wildcat formation is effective.
7-7 in the second quarter. Aiden Brown would catch the post route. Nobody gets a hand on him from Thompson, so couldn't quite get enough separation to get in the end zone. And San Clemente would finally slow him down enough to set up a field goal attempt. Nico Bammer would put it up through the middle from the left hash, so it's a 10-7 Edison lead in the second quarter. San Clemente in the closing seconds of the first half are going to try to get on the board to possibly extend the lead, but Carson Smith's going to do a good job dropping, reads that quarterback size, jumps in front of the route, and so they'd preserve a 10-7 lead at halftime. All right, in the second half, Dawson Martinez, the quarterback from San Clemente, is going to follow the wingback. He's going to get up in the middle and finally got that offense going. It seemed like Edison had pretty much kept him in check all night long.
Matt Lopez almost had him.
And then Colin Cole is going to get the end around, take it outside, cut back in, then bounce it out. So in the third, San Clemente would take the lead, 14-10. But more defense, this time by, speaking of, Matt Lopez and Nathan Stevens. Third down, they got to get a stop. And then use the two of them, about 4 other defenders, closing on San Clemente. Gives their offense an opportunity late in the game.
San Clemente had that bunch left.
4th and 10. Thompson's going to drop back, tries to hit the out route, and they are just off by a half an inch, if that. So it's 4th down. San Clemente would get the ball back, and they would take advantage. Colin Cole, the running back, right up the gut. Nice job by the offensive line, and they're not going to touch him. He is off to the races. And at this point, it would be 21-10 San Clemente with only 1:21 left in the ballgame. But Edison would fight back. Gavin Slaughter, the wide receiver, is going to get the ball from Thompson, who steps up, buys time, stays behind that line of scrimmage, and does a great job leaping over the cornerback. Wow. So 33 seconds left. It's 21-17. Edison's going to obviously have to attempt an onside kick. They're going to get that second bounce, which is key. But to San Clemente's credit, they were able to haul it in after a slight bobble. Boy, you talk about a game of inches. So 21-17 was the final. San Clemente would win, which would in effect create a 3-way tie for second. But Edison won the coin toss, so they got the 2 seed, and they are now the 3rd seed in Division III.
And they take on a 9-1 North Torrance team who won their league and went 5-0. So North Torrance, interesting. They have a two running back system there. They have a kid named Will Pineda who's rushed for 331 yards, and then Jaden Andrade for 394 yards. So the Chargers got to prepare for a platoon running back system in North Torrance. So they also have a couple quarterbacks. It looks like Kane Anatima and Felix Avalar. Kane's passed for 670 yards. Receiving. Kane's received 670 yards, while Felix has caught 559 yards So North Torrance has this very vast offense, it looks like, with a lot of weapons they can go to. So I know the Edison defense will prepare for that. And I think if Edison just plays their game, rely on Julius and the great wide receivers and Thompson, they should get it done. Even though North Torrance, the record's better. Edison, man, you're not going to find too many better 6-4 teams out there.
So one thing to keep in mind, a little side note, Huntington Beach and Edison are home this week in the first round. So the Edison game will be Thursday, which means all three of us get to be there.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So this is CIF. You've got to get out there, support them. I mean, even if you're not a fan, you just want to watch some good high school football. That's Thursday night at Capshoe. We'll be there. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and something else to note of North Torrance is that they made the jump from Division 8 all the way to Division 3. Last year they were in Division 8, and now they're in Division 3, which I think is pretty impressive, and they're 9-1. And they wound up winning their league, which the Pioneer League, it's not as glamorous as like the Bay League or any of the other top leagues, but if you still win your league, it's still pretty impressive.
Hey, 5-0 in league is 5-0 in league. I mean, that's not easy to do.
You are what your record shows.
Right. Well, come out Thursday, and we'll see. They'll settle it on the field. Okay, we are moving on. All right, Corona Del Mar was at home. Taryn, that was the game you were at. They were hosting Yorba Linda.
Yes.
This was a game that if they won, there was a darn good chance they were going to get in. So there was a lot on the table. Let's get into it. Cool, pull it up. So Yorba Linda would strike first. Holden Nagin, the quarterback, is going to drop back. Good coverage, but he buys time by moving around that pocket. Looking, finally finds Eilers in the back of the end zone, which would allow Yorba Linda to take a 7-0 lead. They would extend that lead in the second quarter to 14-0 behind Isaiah Trujillo, the running back. And so early on, Yorba Linda is in control and looking to possibly pull away in NCDM season. Right before half, Yorba Linda looking to go up 21-0, but a nice play by defensive back Gianluca Vaccaro. Yes. Would break it up, and so instead of being now 21-0, it's 14-0. So, CDM is still in this ball game. And the defense would finally set the tone in the second half to get things turned around. There would be a fumble on the play, and that was recovered by, who did you say, Terry?
Damian Zeno Herrera.
So Damian Zeno Herrera would land on it, get the offensive ball, and then from there, Garrett James, the wideout, is going to run right by the cornerback. Nice ball by Annette. And so now a game where, Yorba Linda was in control. It's all of a sudden 14-7. CDM is right back in this. But Yorba Linda would answer. Aiden Gutierrez is going to get a great block by the fullback. He's going to take out the outside backer and then the safety. So really good job by that fullback. And, that's the difference between a touchdown and just a nice gain. So
getting to the next level.
21-7 Yorba Linda. But CDM wouldn't go down. The defense this time, Colton Eggleston and Brett Clemmer, who's just been lights out all year off the edge, are going to meet at the quarterback and pretty much take him out.
It was either throw the ball away and stop the clock or take the sack and force CDM to use their timeouts.
Yeah, and at this point, time was precious. But CDM would still battle. Dorset Stecker is going to run a little wheel here. And that hits him right in between the zone, extends the drive. And then on 3rd and 9, money down, got to have it. Dorset Stecker again, 3rd and 13. It's going to run a little drag across the middle.
Time. Great job, offensive line.
Nice ball. And then from there, Annette's going to find Brett Clemmer, who's going to do a little tight end delay in 1001, 1002, and his sneak out across the field, wide open. So at this point, they pull within 7. It's 21-14. They're going to have to onside kick it. Now, you can do a couple options. You can do the double bounce, or you can try to get it up and over, which is what they do. It falls off the defender's hands, so they had a shot. But, when it was all said and done, it just wasn't meant to be. Yorba Linda would go on to win 21-14. CDM would miss the playoffs by the hair of their chins. And, man, you feel for those guys because we know so many of those players, their parents. And, you look at their schedule. They lost to Palos Verdes by 4. San Juan Hills by 3. Harbor by 7. Yorba Linda by 7. The Villa Park game was close. It came down to the very end. That's a tough pill to swallow when you were that close that many times and you just couldn't find a way.
Always tough, too, when you see these kids. They played in their last high school football game, and, we wish them all the best. Guys like Zach Giuliano, he's going to go on to Stanford and continue his career, and hopefully we'll see some of the other guys play, like, Wyatt Lucas and
Dorset Stecker.
See them
Boydell, he's going to Fresno State.
Boydell's going to Fresno State. So, but
They got a lot of next
Yeah.
level guys, but remember, a lot of these guys were hurt this year. I mean, how long did they miss Giuliano? How long did they miss James
Right.
and Stecker? And those are the
Amori
guys-
Davis was hurt too.
Amori Davis,
Man.
yeah. And those are the guys I know offhand. I mean, I don't get their medical reports, so I don't know all the little oohs and ahs.
And
But
from a leadership standpoint, you'd be hard pressed to find a more positive, optimistic person than head coach Kevin Heddig. You know he'll have those
Look,
guys back in the playoffs next year.
I don't care how good or strong a program is. You're not going to win championships every year. You're not going to be in the playoffs. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
the reality of football. Whether it's you have
It's
a drop
tough.
in talent or injuries or whatever or bad luck, these things happen. You learn from it and you move on. You salute the seniors and they'll
So
be back.
yeah, I want to congratulate all the seniors. It's been an honor and a privilege to watch you guys play these last couple of years, and obviously we at Sunset Rewind wish you all the best, and God bless you guys as you move on past your high school careers.
All right, we are moving on. All right, we are heading down the coast. Los Alamitos is at Mission Viejo for the second straight year. The scenario was simple. If you win, you're league champions. If they lose, there'd be a three-way tie for second. But let's get into it. Not the way you want to start the game. The opening kickoff, Dijon Lee, who is headed to Alabama, and here's one of the reasons why. He's going to take the opening kickoff to the house.
Wow.
So right out of the gate,
Just like that.
Mission Viejo would jump on Los Al 7-0. And, if you're going to score an upset, you don't want to give them plays like that. They would extend their lead this time. How about this name? Heinz Ward Leo Maiava.
Heinsworth Lilo Mayava.
Look at that formation,
Tomato. Jumbo, my favorite formation in football.
Yeah.
So they would
Indeed.
score. Heinz Ward would get in there. So it's 14-0. Mission Viejo early on. But the defense would actually make a big play for Los Al to get them back in this. Johnny Howes is going to recover the fumble from Jackson Rambo Ranger. The force of freedom off the edge would get the strip. Los Al would recover it, so that would set their offense up. And then in the second quarter, Beckham Hoffman's going to drag across the formation on the out route. Alonzo Esparza hits him, keeps the drive alive. That was a fourth down play, so clutch for Los Al. And then from there, in their heavy formation, Lenny Ibarra is going to follow the old line. So on the road, we got a 14-7 ball game. Los Al's hanging in there.
Lenny Ibarra using those rugby legs, being the rugby player that he is.
Mission Viejo would answer. The remaining up back, I did not get a number, would catch the flip pass from the quarterback. So,
Smart play.
just like that, Mission Viejo would get back on top. Well, they were on top, but extend their lead. So it's 21-7. But Los Al's defense,
Rambo.
Jackson Rambo, the force of freedom Ranger coming off the edge. He wouldn't get the sack, but the quarterback essentially fumbled it by throwing it away. And it would knock them out of field goal range. Unfortunately for Los Al, Mission would recover on their next drive. Philip Bell, the wideout, is going to run out. Quarterback just throws a great ball. I mean, puts it right on the money.
God. You
quarter
can't
of the end
defend
zone.
that.
No.
Jeez.
A great throw and catch will
Wow.
always beat great coverage.
Yeah,
So 28-7
absolutely.
Mission. More from the defense this time. Jackson again doing all he can with the help of the front seven to shut down that Mission run game. But, Mission's a resilient team. They would recover from that. And then ultimately, Cash Simonza, as Terrence likes to say, is going to run a little in and out. Good ball. And Mission Viejo just kept pouring it on all night long. It was 35-7 in the third at that point. And then Johnny Howes, the linebacker, is going to do a great job. This is his man. He's got to run with him, doesn't lose him as he releases out of the backfield, does a nice sideline tiptoe interception. So
It's what we call a toe drag.
That's as good as any wide receiver.
Toe
right
drag
there.
swag.
And Lenny Ibarra, he's also the punter. Now, he gets a green line. If he thinks he can beat the edge defender, they'll let him go, and that's exactly what he did. This wasn't a fake punt by design, but it was one of those things where he can make that decision, and it paid off because it kept the drive alive. Los Al would take advantage of the opportunity. Tron Baker, the future USC Trojan, would catch a nice ball, and at that point it would be 35-14 Mission Viejo. Mission Viejo would go on to win 40-14, and that would end that game. But we know Los Al is in the playoffs. They are at home. It's actually at their high school. That's the game I'm going to be at.
Yep.
And I've seen them play there twice this year. It's a great environment. It's one of those high school on-campus stadiums, and it's not that big, but it gets packed because there's enough seating, and it's a great high school environment. They got that Los Al, that loud blue and red. It's really fun. So if you want to watch a good football game this Friday, go to Los Al High School. Let me make one quick message, by the way. the playoff tickets are different now. It's not like back in the day you'd go up and buy them.
Right.
You got to do all that stuff online. You got to download apps. So don't
Go
be running
fan.
late. Yeah. Otherwise,
Wait.
it's frustrating for older people like us who don't know technology. So get there early and get set up. But it's at the high school.
It's pretty safe to say that game's going to sell out and sell out fast. And they're taking on a Losinger team up from Lawndale, who's 8-2, 3-2 in league. Losinger has a running back named Jorny Tonga. He's a junior. 2,016 yards on the season. He eclipsed 2,000 yards in 10 games. So Los Al better prepare for him.
Well, look, they were 8-2. Yeah. They beat Santa Margarita. Their 2 losses was Inglewood, who's undefeated, who's in the open division, and then
Division 1.
Yeah, and then it was Palos Verdes, who I think they lost to by 7. So
both their losses were by 1 score.
So their offense, you know what they've outscored their opponents this year? 389 to 131.
And they're playing good teams.
Yes.
That's a good.
Yeah, Losinger's good.
So Los Al better buckle up those chin straps and tighten them just a little bit harder, because that's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah.
And the Bay League as a whole is pretty darn good, because do you know how many teams out of 6 made the postseason from the Bay League?
All of them?
No.
No, okay.
5.
Yeah.
Yes, 5.
All right, so Los Al, you've got your work cut out for you, but best of luck this week.
Go
and
Griffins.
I will be at that
Hit
game.
that sleigh machine.
That's right. All right, we are moving on. All right, Newport Harbor was on the road at Villa Park. The scenario was simple. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're not in. So they were taking on an outstanding opponent. Now, let's just pick up action in the second quarter. It's already 30-0 Villa Park, and they come up with a great play here. I don't know why they used it, because this is something you could say for CIF. But anyway, the quarterback, it's an odd formation. The quarterback's going to step up like he's running it. They're going to release what they think is the left tackle. He's actually tight end, and he is eligible.
Why delay?
So, again, great play, great concept, but I don't think you need to show that at this point. It was already over. But So 37-7 Villa Park. Villa Park's in control. But Jonah Takamori, the running back, would follow his offensive line, bounce it to the outside, pick up some positive yards for Harbor. And then again, more ground and pound from the Sailors. Jonah Takamori again.
Only a junior, so he'll be back next year.
Yeah, kind of little preview of what you can expect from Harbor Nation next year. Would help drive his team all the way down. Ultimately, it would end with a Sammy Sturmick touchdown. He's going to run a little fade to the corner of the end zone. So at that point, 37-7 Villa Park. Villa Park is obviously still in control, but, Harbor's not giving up. Now, I usually don't post highlights of field goals, but Nate Lewis, the quarterback, and the kicker is going to attempt a 52-yard field goal from the right hash.
I'm guessing he makes it.
Oh, he makes it with a little room to spare. So I don't know if there's any D1 schools out there that need a kicker / quarterback, but man,
that's impressive.
That dude. So it's 40-7 at that point, and again, Villa Park's getting ready to pull the starters out. But Harbor isn't going anywhere. Bodie Stefano would be in at quarterback. He'd get some reps. Find his money receiver, Cade Fiegel. Nice leap and grab up there to keep the drive going. It would extend into the fourth quarter, where Bodie Stefano would find the wideout, kind of looking, improvising, buying time. Nice grab over the defender. Kind of pushes off a little bit, but hey, if they don't call it, it didn't happen.
Right.
So Harbor would get the touchdown, and then late in the game, just for pride at this point, Matthew Yamakawa, the running back. Nice cut there, nice vision, gets up in the gap.
Matthew's only a sophomore, so he'll be back next year,
So they got
too.
a nice 1-2 punch coming up, and that's what to look forward to.
Isn't Jackson Stremick also an underclassman too?
Yeah,
He
Jackson
is
is a sophomore as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Harbor's got some weapons coming back for
So
next season.
46-21 was the final. Villa Park would win the game, and then obviously for Harbor, their season's over. It's an interesting season that they got off to that poor start.
They won the Battle of the Bay.
Well, then they had that great middle run.
Yeah.
They won the Battle of the Bay. Then they start off 2-0 in league, and then it's kind of collapsed. But for those seniors, look, you won one of the biggest games there is twice now. So as juniors and seniors, you got to experience that, and I know you're disappointed about the playoffs, but there are some positives to look at and be proud of, and certainly that Battle of the Bay. I have that last play still on my phone because people don't believe me when I show like that zombie apocalypse whenever we rush the field. It's a big deal, and you'll always have that. So that's something
Sammy
you can hang your hat on.
Stremick and Glenn and Cade Fiegel, all those guys, wish them the best. And hopefully they go on to play in college somewhere. I know Fiegel's an incredible soccer player as well. So
He's actually better at soccer than football, if you can believe it. So he'll be doing something at the next level.
Again, to the Newport Harbor seniors, we wish you all the best, and it's been an honor and a privilege watching them play the last couple of years. And as they move on from their high school football careers, we wish them the best in their future endeavors, and God bless them. And it's been awesome to be a part of that program and watched them play the last couple of years.
A sailor's salute for me.
Yes, from Taran to Sailor Nation.
Nicely done, Taryn.
All right, we good.
So that's it for the regular season. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can see us on social media, sunset_rewind. Go to our website, sunsetrewind.com, where you can get information on all things Sunset football related. And don't forget California Showcase.
If your season is over, if you are a senior and you feel you're being overlooked or you feel you can play at the next level, the California Showcase is for you. It's in February. It's free. You go there. A lot of coaches from Division II, Division III, NAIA have scholarships to offer you. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I'll say it till they fire me from the show. If you are good enough to play and start in Orange County, you can play at the next level. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities, so check that out. We'll promote it more as it gets closer, but it's the California Showcase. And who knows, you might walk away with a scholarship.
And thanks to Taryn and Murphy and Cole and our outstanding staff, McKenna Maloof, or Emma Burns, Taryn Rodriguez.
Somebody.
And thanks to Nick Burns and everyone who's contributed. It's been a great regular season. Look forward to the playoffs. This is going to be awesome. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, everyone. Have a great week, and God bless.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. We want to see Mo with a mohawk.
2000, and I will shave it.